Hey guys, today we're going to do a quick video going over how to convert the Arks of Omen boarding action missions into Crusade and turn them into Crusade games. The first thing you have to do in order to turn this into Crusade is actually you got to take a Crusade rule and convert it over to regular match play. So that means instead of using requisition points, you're going to have to actually figure out the points of your squads that are on your roster that you're going to use to form your boarding party. Now this shouldn't be too bad because you already have picked out your war gear options in that and have them down on your list already. You just actually have to sit down and figure out the points in order to prepare them for a boarding action. Another important feature of boarding action is there is no Warlord trait or relics allowed. Now, when you're playing Crusade, I understand you paid your points for your Warlord trait and your relic. I would say any relics you already paid the points for, Crusade relics, are allowed in. However, any Warlord trait that you already paid a requisition point for is not going to be allowed in. Instead, what you're going to do instead is you're going to take a boarding action enhancement. And you will also have to pay a requisition point in order to get this boarding action enhancement, which acts as a Warlord trait. Now, I know it's unfair that you have to pay a requisition point to get a boarding action enhancement, essentially a second Warlord trait. However, by doing so, we're going to change the rule a little bit so it does not add a Crusade point. A boarding action enhancement on your Warlord or whoever's leading your boarding action will not add a Crusade point to your Crusade point tally, and it doesn't count for the number of upgrades allowed. The boarding action enhancement, however, only applies and can only be used when that character is doing a boarding action. Now, when it comes to choosing agendas for playing a boarding action, you're going to have to just stick with one agenda only to be used, and it has to make sense. So, in other words, you're not going to get one for Titan Slayer because you're not going to be slaying a Titan or the like when you're playing a boarding action Crusade game. So and furthermore, just to warn you, for those of you who have not played yet, boarding actions tend to be very swift, very quick and fluid, so you're not going to have a lot of time to do actions because most of your actions are going to be spent opening doors and the like. So be careful when picking your agenda. Now, another problem we run into with boarding actions is a lot of times you're restricted to only 10-man squads, and those 10-man squads have to be broken down into 5-man boarding action squads, which can lead to some problems as far as note-keeping and deciding how this plays out. Now, the basic rule that I would recommend is as follows. Each XP, or experience point, earned by a divided squad only counts for half experience points. For example, you have a 10-man squad broken down into 2 5-man squads. Each one gets an experience point for participating in the battle. However, their experience point only counts for 0.5. So together they have 1. So the only way they're going to gain an XP is if it's basically going to be double. So if one squad, 5-man squad, say earns the 3-point victor bonus for Marked for Greatness, it only counts as 1.5 XP for the total towards the whole squad as far as how to level it up. Now, if both squads are destroyed and fail an out of action test, the failure affects both, and they will take a battle scar and the like, unless you take one of the myriad ways in Crusade to avoid it. Now, if one of the 2 5-man divided squads is wiped out and fails an out of action test, both squads lose D3 experience points instead of gaining a battle scar. This will just try to make it a little bit easier for bookkeeping. That way there is a penalty. If a 10-man squad loses half the squad, yes, the 10-man squad will suffer some, but it'll be from a loss of experience, not the entire squad. 10-man squad will have a battle scar when you play a normal game. Now with the squad situation cleared up, I'm going to move on to the final step to converting a boarding action game into a Crusade game, and that is basically the mission rewards, the Crusade reward for playing a boarding action game. And for that, I just recommend rolling a d6. On a 1 or 2, the winner gets an extra requisition point. 3 to 4, you gain 1 battle honor or weapon enhancement. 5 to 6, pick 2 units instead of 1 unit to get marked for greatness, and that's what the victor gets. Of course, being as this is Crusade and it's narrative play, you can come up with your own special rewards if you've worked out your own certain special scenarios for playing a Crusade boarding action. It's entirely up to you. And there you have it. Those are the basic steps needed in order to turn a boarding action mission into a Crusade game. And I hope this helps you. I hope it adds to your narrative play. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit like and subscribe down below. Thank you very much for watching.